Hi, welcome to the Phone Arena video review of the Nokia C7, part of the launch-up line for the Symbian 3 operating system. It shares a lot of the same features of its bigger brothers, such as a 3.5-inch AMOLED display and a 680 MHz processor. What it does have is a few differences, however. These include an 8 megapixel camera on the back instead of the 12 megapixel camera on the N8, and no HDMI out port. So let's see if Nokia have left us with enough to make for a good phone. Starting with the screen, we can safely say that the C7 is a fingerprint magnet. It absolutely loves them, especially when you turn the screen off. We had to give this phone a wipe down in between every take of this video. It really does absolutely love fingerprints, from the glossy fascia right through to the chromed edges and even the camera cover on the back. Getting off the fingerprints, we're left with a beautiful display. At 3.5 inches, it's a comfortable size, and with an AMOLED display, blacks are very black and colors are very saturated and punchy. The resolution is 360 by 640 pixels as with the N8, and you can expect a similar viewing experience. If we look at the soft keys below the phone, you may recognize that there are 3, whereas on the N8 there was just the 1. We really like this. On Symbian 3, the one soft key isn't quite as usable as it is on some other operating systems. For some reason, it doesn't come as naturally and feels very nice when you have a call and an end button to press. In this respect, the C7 might be a much more practical alternative to the day-to-day user who wants their phone to be a really usable phone. On the top of the phone is a micro USB port covered, and a power button, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. On the right hand side is a volume up, volume down button, and in the middle a voice activation button. There is a lock button as with the N8 below that, and a single step camera button, as this camera doesn't have autofocus. On the left hand side is a Nokia 2mm charging port. Finally, on the back of the phone is an 8 megapixel camera, as I mentioned, with no autofocus, and 2 LED flashes, as well as a loudspeaker. Removing the back panel very easily, and you have a solid aluminium battery cover, and the battery, and a SIM card slot, as well as a micro SD card slot located under the battery, so it's not hot swappable. We really like the C7's build quality. It feels extremely solid and rounded in the hand. It's much more streamlined than the N8, for example, and without the protruding battery cover, it just doesn't feel like quite as much of an imposition. In addition, you have the 3 physical buttons underneath: the call, the end, and the menu button, which we find are much more intuitive to access the core phone features. Another thing people might like is the battery cover on the back being removable, so you can change the battery. This is good for overnight business trips, for example, where a spare battery will take a lot less room in your suitcase than, for example, a charger and a converter. Ultimately, we'd say probably the only thing we didn't love about the C7's build quality is the fact that the screen and the entire fascia are just so glossy and love fingerprints so much. If you can get past that, we'd really recommend it. Running Symbian 3, the Nokia C7 is virtually identical to the Nokia N8. In turn, for a full review of Symbian 3, check out the N8 review at www.phonearena.com. While you're here though, we'll briefly go over what the C7 can do for you. With a maximum of 3 home screens and a minimum of 1, you can add a home screen and add some widgets to it. Once you've set your home screen, a long press will enable you to add more widgets or remove widgets that you've got on and don't want anymore. The buttons underneath at the bottom of the screen include an options button giving you home screen options and a call button pulling up the dialer. You also have a call button at the bottom, which is a physical button, giving you a range of your call log, as well as a hang up button. In the middle of those is a menu button. The menu, as you can see, is the same as on the N8. The calendar is all extremely predictable, with a range of views, and the contacts tab, again extremely standard. The music player is also the same as the N8, however this was such a highlight we'll quickly go over it again. You have your cover flow up top and your list at the bottom, which is extremely handy to use one-handed. If you flip the phone to landscape, then you've got just your cover flow, which was actually less intuitive. As mentioned in the N8 review, this combination of cover flow and list is something that we really liked and found very useful. Additional music features include a radio, a link to OV music, and an FM transmitter. The photos viewer on the C7 is as with the N8. While this is very good in some respects, as you can view your photos extremely quickly and there's no delay, with everything being very responsive and you being able to find a photo, say this one which we took yesterday, and it all refreshes pretty nice and quickly. However, when you have a lot of photos, or in this case videos, which are very similar and want to identify one, you can't access the file name. This is a bit of a pain. Having said that, while we're here, we know we want to access this one to show you the video playback. The Nokia C7 played back every codec format that we threw at it. So if you have AVIs or DivX's MP4s, just throw it onto the memory card and playback should be fine. Audio output through the 3.5mm headphone jack was also good, and the loudspeaker even performed pretty well. So generally, great portable media player device. As you can see, playback is extremely smooth, even when jumping to various sections, and this is a 720p file, so it's very impressive that it's playing back so quickly and so smoothly. Also, there isn't a problem with audio sync, as we watched a full 45-minute episode of a program and the audio sync was fine throughout. Messaging is extremely standard with optional conversation view or inbox view, message by message. Videos and TV offers you a link to online viewing experiences such as CNN and E! Entertainment, as well as the Paramount movie teasers. It offers, the Nokia C7 also has OV Maps on board as standard, which works very well, as well as the OV Store. The applications we found on board were Quick Office, Standard, F-Secure, Lotus Notes Traveler as well. Not the full version of Quick Office, so you might want to bear this in mind. Pulling up the camera application, and it is exactly the same as on the N8, with the same scenes and all the same functionality except for macro. For more on this, please check out the N8 review, and keep in mind that all of the options are exactly the same except for the lack of macro mode. Going from the camera, we can go straight into the photos to take a look at some of the pictures taken on the Nokia C7 and to see the quality of them. Let's take a look at, say, the video we took earlier on of the flowers. As you can see, it's a little bit jumpy, but overall, on the whole, pretty smooth. An impressive HD video capture device, not too dissimilar to that of the Nokia's N8. One thing to note is, however, the colours appear a little bit duller, and this may come down to the sensor. Taking a look at the photos, we can see that when you zoom right in and give the photo a chance to sharpen, while the Nokia N8 would sharpen considerably, without the autofocus, the Nokia C7 is much more of a general purpose camera. Colours, as with the videos, look duller in photos, and everything looks a little bit flatter with less contrast. Having said that, for most day-to-day purposes, it does perform very well for a camera with no autofocus. For more samples, check out phonearena.com. The final thing which we haven't mentioned is the social networking support. On board, the Symbian 3 operating system gives you access to Twitter and Facebook that you can have as widgets on the home screen, and we look forward to seeing if additional ones are added in the future. To wrap up, we're really pleased with the C7. Nokia have put in a bunch of great features and made it a really usable phone. So, with the 3 physical buttons under the screen, you can access the phone features extremely quickly, and at the same time, with the 3.5-inch AMOLED display, the 3.5mm headphone jack, and the fantastic codec support, it can be used as a viable portable media player. With HD video capture as well as 8-megapixel camera, it's no slouch in the media capturing department either. It even has twin LED flashes, so won't let you down. While it won't do any macro shots, if you are looking for a better camera experience, an alternative would be the Nokia N8, which is safe to say probably the best camera experience about on a phone today. If you're looking for another operating system, the Apple iPhone 4 will give you iPhone OS at a higher price point. If you're looking for a similar price point on another operating system, the now slightly old HTC Desire can be found with Android. The upcoming HTC Desire HD will give you a more multimedia-centric experience and at a slightly higher price point. Thanks for watching Phone Arena. This has been the video review of the Nokia C7. For more on this and other handsets, please visit www.phonearena.com.